Intellectual property. It's ideas that belong to you or to some human. Intellectual property can be words, music, concepts, images. So intellectual property has a compulsory license which is called copyright. The author of the idea is the intellectual property owner, and thus the copyright owner, and he can grant that copyright to others via a copyright license. So intellectual property is everything in the legal fiction, and the copyright of legal fiction is what gives it structure, what gives it life in a way, because then it joins the pieces back to the author, who is or was alive. After several years, copyright runs out and needs to be renewed, and as it runs out, it enters the public domain. Obviously, things like words in the dictionary are not copyrighted, but the definitions in the dictionary are. Documents, legal documents, and pieces of literature, artwork, any ideas, all fall under the same category, copyright. There is a fair use of copyright which allows people under the fair use copyright to use certain pieces of work for educational purposes. Generally, everything in our world is treated as an idea, and as soon as you put a title or a label or a trademark on something, it creates a legal fiction, an intellectual property, which is bound by copyright, stopping anybody else from using it. To understand copyright better, imagine the author of a book. Now, the author doesn't own the paper or the ink, doesn't own the individual words. The author owns the unique construction of words into an experience. So if the author sells one book, and that book is then sold at a second-hand shop or given to the next person doesn't actually own the book. They're actually then, in a way, stealing the work, because the first person's read the book, thus made a copy in their mind. They've experienced, it's like eating an ice cream. Once you've had that ice cream experience, it's the experience you pay for. If you buy food in a shop, you don't actually buy the food, you buy the receipt, you buy the service, the concept. If you buy wood from a forest, you don't buy the wood, you buy the services of having it being cut down, the human conceptuality of wood. Yeah. It goes for anything. You can't buy a house, you can only buy the title of the house. Because nothing can belong to anything, because everything belongs to itself in a tangible, real world of equity. And so, in order for authors to be able to function properly, they need to get a certain amount of money for each of the copies made in your mind. So if I give an idea to you that has value in your mind, as soon as you tell it to somebody else, you're essentially passing on copyright that doesn't belong to you. And this is why we need a new model, I feel. A new model of paying the author. So as you can see, reselling books is a kind of a breach of copyright. The author doesn't get any money from a second-hand book sale, but the reader gets a copy in his mind. And in the modern day of the internet, where books and CDs and other media can be distributed digitally without any costs occurred directly, only bandwidth, it's much more possible to give away a copy for free, or to steal a copy, if you like. This means that we need new education in the future about the fact that if you enjoy a piece of music, you should support the author, no matter whether you got it for free or not. If in your opinion the author's got too much money already, then that's a decision that you can make as well. But the way I see it is like, if you was to buy everything that you wanted to listen to, what if you don't like any of it? And how can you listen to a CD before you've listened to it, before you've paid to it? So this kind of education needs to be more in the general public about how Creative Commons is there for, and why free licenses exist, and why free software is all about free license and has got nothing to do with the price. So thanks for watching, cheerio.